斯坦福大学现在都是用这种方式在进行，所以你们现在是处于 the so-called transitional period 过渡期啊。如果你们再晚生个10年的话，以后你们注完册之后，你大概到学校1个学期啊，一门课只来3个礼拜，其他十几个礼拜 you just stay at home, okay, and watch the films, okay. 那3个礼拜是什么 ？For further discussion with your professor, or by raising a question, okay. 很清楚吧？所以这叫 MOOCs。第一个 M 叫做 massive, okay. In other words, because you use online, you use the so-called modern technology, you could have many 5,000 students for your class， 所以量一定是大的。你看，我看过一门课，他的学生的注册量是200万 ，OK。我教书教了40年，我把40年 all the students put together， 搞不好不到2万 ，OK。那赖一伦开一门课就200万，还得了？对不对？超过了我40年的好几十倍啊，对不对？是不是赖一伦？当你站在台上，你有200万的这个学生在听你上课，你会有什么感觉？赖一伦？虚荣心嘛。I become a VIP teacher or professor immediately。这是一个概念所以是 massive MOOCs， 第一个是 massive， 第二个 of course 是 open， 开放的。You don't have to go to a classroom to learn what you want to learn。所以第二个是 open， 对大家开放的。现在很多世界名大学的课程都开放了，但是开放让你去上课啊。但是你说，please produce me a certificate, a diploma for what I have learned。他们的收费是这么收费的，所以这个 business model 怎么来？好，你修完课啊，拉一伦或者傅可明说，我要个学分证明，3个学分，我要拿到亚洲大学 ORC 去抵学分，请他给你一个学分证明。他说可以啊，一张学分证明$100，看你要不要，对不对？或者你修了10门课之后说，我已经修了10门课了，是不是可以给一个硕士学位？当然可以，10门课就超过30学分嘛。我们硕士不过是24学分而已啊。我们现在硕士班啊，你有30个学生，还会给你硕士学位啊。你拿到是凤凰城大学或者美国斯坦福大学的硕士学位，很有价值，对不对 ？No problem， 给你一个硕士学位。但是一张学位呢是要$1000，那有那马上要嘛，对不对？斯坦福大学硕士学位$1000，$10,000都要了，何况$1000，对不对？那就是一个 business model。所以第一个是 M 是 massive， 第二个 O 是 open， 接下来一个 O 是 online， 一定在网络上进行。OK， 是 massive、open、online， 最后一个 C 叫做 courses 课程。那我们都加个 S，MOOCs MOOCs。为什么叫 MOOCs MOOCs？ 为什么还有个 S？ 因为 it refer to more than one course，OK？ It refer to more than one course， 超过一个课。The novel by Iscuro, A Pale View of Heroes. And as I mentioned to you in the previous week, when you come upon a novel, before you do any reading, I would like you to just open the first page and then flip to the last page to know a little bit about the overall structure of the novel. Okay? More or less like a building. Before you see the inside of the building, of course, you have to know how the building is shaped. Is it shaped like our modern Museum of Arts? It is shaped like a triangle, or it is shaped like for example, in Rome, they do a Colosseum, 竞技场 Colosseum. It's shaped like what? Like a Okay, so I think the very important thing for you to know in the very beginning is the so-called the structure of the book. And when you begin to read the book, you come to realize actually the novel has 11 chapters. I also mentioned to you when you read a novel, when you do any reading, just bear in mind, reading is like taking a journey. Okay? Because you're taking a journey in doing any reading, therefore, you need to get started somewhere. You need to get started somewhere. And the journey will take you to some destination. 目的地, the ending. So, in reading a book, in reading a novel, the beginning and the ending are very important. And as I mentioned to you in our previous study, how does the novel begin? How does A Pale View of Years begin? It begins with a visit from Nikki, right? It begins with a visit from Nikki. So who is Nikki, Andrew?
Etsuko's younger daughter with an Englishman.
Okay. In other words, Etsuko's young daughter. Etsuko, the storyteller in this book, the narrator in this book. And as I mentioned to you, Etsuko is the first person narrator. She tells her own story out of her memory. So in this sense, we could argue A Pale View of Years is more or less like Etsuko's memoir, 回忆录 memoir. Later on, we are going to talk about the advantage and the disadvantage of having the first person as the narrator of a story. What's the good? What is the disadvantage of using a first person as the narrator of the book? Okay, so yes, when the story begins, we realize a young girl named Nikki. Okay, actually, she is a mixture of Japanese and English or British. Okay, because the mother is a Japanese, the father is English. Okay, so Nikki comes from London. From London, don't forget, she lives in London. She comes from London to see her mother. That's Etsuko in the story. Where does the mother live? In the suburban area. In the suburban area, in London area, you could say she lived in a very quiet, living environment. She comes to see the mother. You might be curious to know why. Why she wants to see the mother? For many, many reasons. One good reason is she knows that the mother feels quite guilty over the death of her elder sister, Keiko. She feels guilty, and she has developed a very strong sense of guilt. So the mother could not live a quiet, peaceful life, even though her living environment is in the suburban area of London, even though the environment is very peaceful, very quiet, but because of her sense of guilt, she is restless in a sense, uneasy in a sense. Uneasy means 良心不安. So the younger daughter knows the mother's situation. She comes to visit the mother in order to render comfort, give comfort to the mother. she tried to comfort the mother. And she planned to stay for some days, or for some weeks, or for some months. As a reader, we have no idea how long she planned to stay. We have no idea. But according to the mother's, statement in the novel, we realize she might have planned to stay much longer. Unfortunately, after a few days, she decided to take off. She decided to leave. So how many days did she stay with the mother? How many days? Do you have an idea? How many days Nikki stayed with? Yes? How many? 5 days. Very good. We have no idea how many days she decided to stay with the mother. But we believe, according to the statement from the mother, she might have planned to stay much, much longer. But she only stayed for 5 days. And then she left. So you could argue the whole book starts with the visit of Nikki to her mother. Because the visit, then the mother begins to reflect what happened to her when she was young, when the elder daughter Keiko was not yet born. When we read the story, we realize at that time, Etsuko was pregnant. She was big with a baby, right? She was pregnant. Keiko was not born yet. So they start to talk about what happened in the past. You could argue the young daughter, Nikki, is more or less like a what? Like a inducer, inducer, 触媒啊, like an inducer. Because of the young daughter, the deep emotion is released, is induced. And then the mother begins to reflect over what happened to her when she was just, a very young woman with a baby. Okay? Pregnant with a baby, or big with a baby. So at the end, when you read the ending, you come to realize, finally, the mother had to say goodbye to the daughter. And the author used the weather in the beginning and at the end to indicate the so-called mood, 心境, of both the mother and the daughter. In the beginning, when Nikki visited the mother, we know that the weather was, what kind of weather? Gray, very good. Windy. Gray and windy, and it rains a little bit, like drizzling, 毛毛细, okay, drizzling, gray and windy. So if you want to argue what is the main tone, tone 是色彩, what is the main tone of the book, you could say gray and windy. Gray, 灰蒙蒙的, windy, 风, 多风. In other words, as a reader, you would feel quite sad in a sense. So you could argue it's a very melancholy story. Melancholy, melancholy, right? 很忧愁的, 很哀愁的, 很忧伤的. 但是非常 是日本文学很重要的一个特色吗？川端康成was a good example，right？ 非常唯美，但是又带着凄凉。You know the national flower of Japan? What is the national flower of Japan? Anybody here? In English, the national flower of Japan, yes? Sakura. Sakura. Okay? 复可名 actually, you are right. Sakura 是樱花。樱花有什么特性 Anybody here? What's so unusual about Sakura? How come the Japanese would pick up Sakura as their national flower? Yes? Why Sakura? Why? Why Sakura? Anybody here? Why Sakura? Later on, why Sakura? No idea. Okay. Andrew, why Sakura?
Because it fades when it is in its most beautiful situation.
Okay. When Sakura, blossom, is so magnificent. It is so pretty. It is so beautiful, right? But the flower could only last for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? In other words, the beauty will not stay forever. Okay? When it blossoms, then very quickly it begins to wither. Okay? The sakura. So the same here. When you see sakura, oh, you are so attracted by the beauty of the flower. But very soon, you come to realize beauty cannot last long. Beauty stays only very short. That's the spirit of Sakura. So when you read, I'm not sure whether you are familiar with any Japanese literature or any Japanese novel not. If you are familiar with like Chuan-Lan Kang-Chen, for example, there are several world famous writers. Okay? You come to realize that's part of the Japanese tradition. Even though Ishiguro writes in English and he doesn't try to imitate the tradition of the Japanese literature, but still, given his origin, he was born by Japanese parents. When he was young, he moved to England along with the parents, and he received his education, primary, secondary, even tertiary. Tertiary refers to the university education in England. That's the reason why he could be such a good English writer. His English is perfect. Okay? His English is perfect. But still, given his origin, his background, it would not surprise us if he takes interest in Japanese literature. If his writing style is more or less influenced by Japanese literature. I also mentioned to you last time, because both the mother and the daughter are haunted by the death of the elder sister by Keiko. You could say Keiko is more or less like a ghost in the book who comes out to haunt the mother and the daughter. Could you follow me? In that sense, you could read a pale view of hears as a what? As a ghost story. And ghost story has remained again a very strong tradition in Japanese literature. Okay. I just want to point to one chapter to support our argument that you could read the novel from the perspective of a ghost story. I just mentioned the book has altogether 11 chapters, right? So if you have the book, please turn to chapter 11, okay? Please turn to chapter 11, okay? Or you can share, okay? I just want to point out the very passage where you could argue, okay, this is a very strong evidence that the novel could be read as a ghost story. Okay, chapter 11, in the beginning we say, at first, I was sure someone had walked past my bed and out of my room, closing the door quietly. At first, I was sure someone had walked past my bed and out of my room. I, of course, all the I in the book refer to the storyteller, refer to the mother, refer to Etsuko. Okay? It's still very early morning. Okay? Then I became more awake and I realized how faithful an idea this was. So at first, she thought someone was walking past her room. Who was walking past her room? Could that be the ghosts of Keiko? But later on, she told us it was just a fancy 想象, not real. Okay? Then I lay in bed listening to further noises. Don't forget, it's quite early in the morning. Okay? So before she gets up, she still lies in bed listening to some kind of noises. Quite obviously, I had heard Nikki in the next room. The younger daughter stayed in the next room. She had complained throughout her stay of being unable to sleep well. Both the mother, Etsuko, and the young daughter, Nikki, they could not sleep well because, as readers, we know both are haunted by the death of Keiko. Or possibly there have been no noise at all. I have awoken again during the early hours from habit. Okay. Finally, the mother decided to get up, but we'll see what is going to happen. In the third paragraph, line 4, I stepped further on to the landing. She woke up and walked out of her room, 从房间走出去, because she believed there was some noise. Someone was inside the house. Okay? So she stepped further on to the landing. 我们讲 landing 就是楼梯跟楼梯之间那一块平的地方嘛。啊，第二楼要到第一楼中间有一块平的地方 ，this called landing. Okay? I stepped further on to the landing and almost by instinct cast a glance down to the far end of the corridor towards Keiko's door. Don't forget, Keiko's room remained empty, but the mother cast a glance, had a look at Keiko's room to see whether Keiko's ghost was there or not. Okay? Then what happened? You'll be quite surprised. Then, for a moment, I was sure I heard a sound come from within Keiko's room. There was a sound coming from her room. But actually, no sound. So she had some kind of fancy. There was a sound in her room, and the sound was coming toward her. A small, clear sound amidst the singing of the birds outside. I stood still, motionless, listening, then began to walk towards the door. There came more noises, and I realized they were coming from the kitchen downstairs. So someone was in the kitchen downstairs. Their bedrooms are upstairs on the second floor. The kitchen is downstairs on the ground floor. And someone is in the kitchen. Okay? So later on, when Etsuko is more awake, she realized the noise doesn't come from Keiko's room. The noise actually comes from the kitchen downstairs. Then what happened? I remained on the landing for a moment. She hesitated a little bit whether to walk down or not. Then made my way down the staircase, 走下楼梯. Nikki was coming out of the kitchen and started on seeing me. The key word is started. If you check in your dictionary, 同学对 started 你的字典永远告诉你什么叫 started. The semester will start on December the 12th. 开始了. Now we'll start our class. 开始. But you might not know. Start 有一个另外一个重要的意思。Nikki started. 什么叫 Nikki was started? Nikki was taken by surprise. 大吃一惊 started. 它就现在的英文就叫 startle. S-T-A-R-T-L-E. Startle means surprise. How come Nikki was surprised? Because Nikki could not fall asleep. She had nightmare. She was haunted by the ghost of the sister. She could not fall asleep. Therefore, she had to walk downstairs to make some coffee for herself, right? She was making coffee, and while she tried to return back to her room, suddenly she saw someone standing, on the staircase. So she suddenly thought, that's the ghost of Keiko. So that was the reason why she was startled. She was taken by surprise. 转身一看，楼梯有一个人站在那里，哇，是姐姐的鬼啊！所以她是吓了一跳。注意这个 "started" 这个关键字 ，OK？ So what did he say? Nikki was coming out of the kitchen and started on seeing me. 同学要把 "started" 这个关键字读出来 then you are OK. Started means taken by surprise. She was taken by surprise. Started on seeing me. Oh, mother, you give me a real fright. 看到没有 ？Oh, mother, give me a real fright. Fright 是惊慌、紧张。You give me a real fright. Oh, mother, you really frighten me. How come? How come? She was so frightened. Because she thought the mother at first was the ghost of Keiko's ghost. In the murky light of the hallway, 你看 the light was murky. Murky means not very bright, not very clear. Murky 有点dim, 灰暗的，灰蒙蒙的。In the murky light of hallway, I could see her thin figure in a pale dressing gown, holding a cup in both her hands. 你看 holding a cup. 身材有一点纤细，我们感觉很弱不禁风啊，像林黛玉型的啦啊。OK，holding a cup， 所以从这个可以看出来，妈妈看到女儿年轻的女儿清纯的模样，是有一点什么？有一点林黛玉的憔悴啊。 okay, and holding a cup of coffee in both hands, 双手捧着一杯咖啡要喝。In such an early morning, she need to seek support from a cup of coffee to keep herself awake. 对不对？靠着咖啡啊。啊，你看妈妈怎么说 ？I'm sorry, Nikki. I thought perhaps you were a burglar. You know burglar, 对不对？闯入者、闯空门的小偷的 burglar. I thought you were a burglar because you were making some noise. My daughter took a deep breath. 注意哦，不是鬼啦，是人啊，是妈妈。Take a deep breath, but still remain shaken. The key word shaken. Shaken 就是一直紧张啊，发抖那 shaken. In other words, still remain frightened. Then she said, I couldn't sleep very well, so I thought I might as well make some coffee myself. You see, both mother and daughter just could not sleep well. We skipped about 10 lines. I don't seem to sleep very well. I keep having these bad dreams all the time. 这是谁说的话 ？The daughter. From the story, we only know that the mother keeps telling the daughter her dreams, 对不对？我们只听到那妈妈出口告诉女儿她的噩梦嘛。Nikki doesn't say anything about her dreams. Here, Nikki, 这个时候 Nikki confess, admits, during her stay there, she had all kinds of bad dreams. 所以这句话是女儿说的哦。What did she say? I don't seem to sleep very well. I keep having these bad dreams all the time. 做了一大堆噩梦。这个时候，二女儿才说出来。只有原来过去我们知道妈妈在说。Okay, so what could you argue from this kind of expression? So obviously, not just the mother is haunted by the death of Keiko. The second daughter, the younger sister, is also haunted. Did she do something wrong to the elder sister? The answer is yes. 她对姐姐有没有做了什么对不起姐姐的事情？否则为什么有良心不安 ？We know the answer is yes. Because she is only a half sister. 同母异父嘛。Nikki's father is English, whereas Keiko's father is Japanese. 所以你可以看出这个什么 cultural identity 文化认同。你可以看出来什么 racial superiority 种族的优越感。如果我是跟 Andrew we are brothers， 我的爸爸是美国人 ，OK， 当然我们妈妈讲，他的爸爸是 Chinese， 我台湾历史，甚至是菲律宾的，或者甚至其他的，我们两个走出去就不一样了。I would feel quite proud because my father is an American. 然后就 That happens to the two sisters. 所以，我们 later we are going to realize， 在这一幕的时候 ，Nikki 就被迫承认 she did something terrible to the sister, and her father also did something terrible to the sister. OK， 我们来看看，妈妈怎么说呢？ That's worrying, Nikki. That's worrying. Worrying. 让人忧心啊。You are so young, and you could not fall asleep. You are still so young. So that's worrying, Nikki. At your age, You are so young. You should have no problem sleeping. 来友 do you have any problem sleeping? No， 不会有嘛。你有 problem sleeping 就不会这么壮啊，对不对？你们这种 age 不应该有 problem sleeping. I have problem sleeping because I have a lot of pressure. OK， 同学不要看到我很风光啊，因为工作太多 a lot of pressure. So sometimes I just cannot sleep well. OK， a lot of pressure. Whereas 傅可明啊、赖玉荣啊、Andrew 这些人。You just lie down and then you begin to sleep, okay? And most of the time you just oversleep. 那些没有来朋友是 oversleep, okay? Oversleep 不是吗？对不对？还在做美丽的梦嘛，对不对？如果是做噩梦的话，所以他们翘课都没有罪恶感，啊，大家有对不对？他们完全没有罪恶感嘛。如果有罪恶感就睡不着了，对不对？啊，大家有。You can send a message saying you have no sense of guilt for skipping the class. Yeah, because you could oversleep, right? 帮我什么？录影啊 ，OK. Later on we can do that, okay? So, okay, we'll continue here. We'll continue here, okay? She said nothing and went on looking at the garden. Then the mother began to ask the daughter, "What kind of bad dream do you have?" I asked. "Oh, just bad dream." In other words, the younger daughter doesn't want to tell the mother what exactly her bad dreams are. Just bad dreams. Don't ask. 就是噩梦嘛 Don't ask. Bad dreams about what? You know, the mother is very curious. 做什么噩梦啊？当然妈妈知道啊。The mother knows what kind of bad dreams she has. 那妈妈故意在问，看女儿会不会 confess. OK？ 女儿，你看，故意都不说。Just bad dreams, she said, suddenly irritated. 什么叫 irritated? Suddenly getting angry. 为什么叫会 irritated? Andrew, 为什么？中文叫做什么？恼羞成怒。所以你看，常常发脾气的人，对不对？都内心有问题啊。那内心有问题，我才要发脾气嘛，不是吗？一定什么？用发脾气来掩盖他的罪恶感，是不是这样？如果你发现呢，傅可美常常发脾气哦，那他内心充满 sense of guilt， 对不对 ？The same, the younger daughter began to get irritated, began to get a little bit angry， 开始有点不高兴了。Okay, because the mother keeps asking what kind of bad dreams she has. So, she begins to get angry, get a little bit irritated. Okay? We'll continue here. What does it matter? What they're about? 你看，女儿就怪妈妈了。我做噩梦，干你有什么事情 ？What does it matter? Why is it so important to you? 我做什么噩梦？为什么对你很重要 ？Then we feel silent for a moment, okay? Then Nikki said without turning. 你看看，这个是这本书一个非常非常重要的一个 moment. 来有，你犯了很大的罪，对不对？你充满了罪恶感。什么时候让你的罪恶感可以消除掉？ When can you get rid of your sense of guilt? Tell me. 赖荣，你什么时候可以 get rid of your sense of guilt? 不知道。If you are are Catholic， 如果你们是一个天主教徒，对不对？天主教徒通常有一个仪式啊，叫做什么？叫做 confession， 告解。OK， 神父 ，Father Priest， 坐在一个什么？一个木板，有洞的木板背后，它不一定是木板，木头做的，他大概隐隐约约看到你而已。坐在那边用耳朵听，你就跪在那个椅子上，这个拉友就可以开始 begin to confess。我上个礼拜，礼拜三，对林雅轩有非分的想法，我想象是怎么样，想对他怎么样，神父就说，还有没有？拉友说还有啊，我今天早上起来的时候。对我的英文老师又有一个什么非常想入非非的想法。For example, okay, and after this, you feel quiet, relieved, because you confess your sense of guilt, right? 这是一个经过一个什么一个 ritual 仪式啊，所以宗教透过仪式让你觉得。You could get rid of your sense of guilt. You could read the passage from this kind of context. 女儿不说出来不行说出来就没事嘛，不是吗 ？So that's the reason why the younger daughter has to say out. 我们来看看，非常非常重要的一幕，very important. This is a very important scene in the novel. 你看哦。好 ，younger daughter 的 confession， 女儿的告解怎么说呢 ？I suppose Dad should have looked after her a bit more。看到没有？第一个我们终于了解了。Dad, of course, refer to Etsuko's second husband, refer to her biological father， 是他的生父嘛？但是是什么？是 Keiko 的什么 stepfather 继父啊？不是吗？ Nikki here said, okay, Nikki here said that I suppose that she should look after her a bit more. Look after, take care of, 应该好好照顾她。显然就是她在的时候，她活着的时候，没有好好照顾她嘛。Okay? I suppose that she should look after her a bit more. Shouldn't he? 你看二女 ，Shouldn't he? He ignored her most of the time. The key word is ignore. 放任，根本不理她。That's, a sense of guilt. Nikki's sense of guilt. Nikki, when she was young, didn't say this. Now, after some years, after the days of Keiko, now she begins to argue. My father, when my elder sister was still alive, he did not take good care of the sister. 但是呢，你看it wasn't fair, really. 关键字就出现 fair 了。It wasn't fair, really. In other words, it has a lot to do with the issue of fairness. Fairness. 什么叫 fair, Andrew? Justice. 这样我爸爸这样说是不对的啦，不公的，不公平的啦。And it's spoken by Nikki. 这时候妈妈反而倒过来安慰二女儿。她说 I waited to see if she would say more. Then I said, well, it's understandable enough. 所以这是妈妈在安慰二女儿的话。It's understandable. 可以理解嘛 He wasn't her real father after all. Not her biological father. 是亲生的爸爸嘛。但是二女儿开始讲话。But it wasn't fair, really. 看到没有 这个是一个 Nikki 很重要的一个 moment，her moment of confession，confession 告解啊。Don't forget this is a very important moment，a moment of confession. At this moment, at this particular moment, she begins to argue. Her real father was not fair to her own elder sister. OK， 所以反而是妈妈在安慰二女儿。原来二女儿是要来安慰妈妈嘛，妈妈 sense guilt. Now it's just opposite. OK. Okay, we'll continue here. Outside, I could see it was nearly daylight. A lone bird was making its noise somewhere close by the window. Your father was rather idealistic at times, I said. 你看，妈妈为她的爸爸，又是她的第二个老师先生啊，开始辩护啊，所以你会发现很妙啊。When the mother has some sense of guilt, the daughter tries to comfort the mother， 对不对？妈妈有罪恶感，女儿来安慰她。Now, when the young daughter has developed a sense of guilt， 反而妈妈跳过来安慰女儿，两个就是相互取暖嘛，对不对？赖一荣对傅可明告解说：“我做了什么坏事？”傅可明说：“没有关系啦。”我做的坏事比你还厉害啊！啊，换傅可明跟他说，this is more or less like what？ 就是 they try to comfort each other by using different kind of rhetorical strategy. Okay, just bear in mind, this is very interesting. 所以我就告诉你们，在读这文学的时候，那个背后角色 psychology, that's the key, the psychology. Okay. We'll continue here. We'll continue here. Okay. Let's turn to page 176. I said, in those days, you see, he really believed we could give her a happy life over here. 妈妈终于说了 ，We believe if we take Keiko along with us to England, he could live a better life. 这不是 Sachiko 跟那个 Mariko 的 argument 吗 ？Sachiko keeps telling the reader, don't worry about my daughter Mariko. If I take her to the United States, she will live a better life. She will have a better opportunity. Is it right? The same kind of argument. The same kind of argument. So later on, I told you before, actually, Etsuko is Sachiko. Keiko is Mariko. Did I make this kind of argument? Yes or no? 我说过这样的一个 argument. Now you could say, okay, where could you prove it? Let me just show it to you. Okay. Let me just show it to you, okay? You could turn to page 172. We are going to finish 172 and 73, and then, okay, the class will be over. Let's turn to page 172. That's important. Actually, line 11 from the bottom. Line 11 from the bottom. Okay? 倒数第11行. After a long silence, she said, 172, page 172, 172. After a long silence, she said, I don't want to go away. I don't want to go away. Said, 爱是哪个人? Here, Mariko, this girl. Because Sachiko, the mother, will take her away to the United States along with her boyfriend Frank. 不是吗？那个小美国阿兵哥啊 ，Frank will take them to the United States. Okay, then the young daughter Mariko argued, I don't want to go away. want to stay in Japan. I don't want to go away. 好 I don't want to go away. I don't want to go away tomorrow. 好这是 I， 就是那个 miracle。但是不要忘掉了 ，I gave a sign。这个 I 不是这个妈妈哦。Miracle is not talking to the mother. Miracle is talking to Ezuko。因为 Ezuko 被要求帮忙照顾这个女儿啊。Sachiko 不在这个现场。Okay, Ezuko is taking care of Miracle, and Miracle tells Ezuko she doesn't want to go away to the United States with the mother. 我妈妈明天要跟美国大兵去美国 ，I don't want to go there. 好，这个时候 Ezuko 怎么来 comfort the young girl? OK， 这个 Ezuko 叫 I gave a sigh， 比较叹息，表示莫可奈何。OK， I gave a sigh, but you like it. 你看，他就鼓励这个小女生啊 ，Don't worry, once you go to the United States, you will like it. 到美国去你就喜欢了 ，You like it. Don't worry. Everyone a little frightened of new things. You like it over there. Of course, in the beginning, because so new, so strange to you, you could be a little bit frightened. But when you get used to it, you like it. 就是怎么样？刚开始啊，陌生，有点紧张 ，but later on you get used to it. Okay. Then the miracle keeps saying, I don't want to go away. I don't like him. Him 就是 Frank，the American soldier， 妈妈的那个男朋友，美国大兵。I don't like him。你看这个 Miracle 对那个美国大兵，他妈妈男朋友怎么说 ？He's like a pig。看到没有？用粗话骂人啊！我妈妈那个男朋友，那个美国大兵 ，He's like a pig。骂人的话，一头猪啊 ！He's like a pig。OK。好，你看哦，这个 Ezuko 对 Miracle 怎么安慰他 ？You are not to speak like that. You are a girl. Don't say that. 怎么可以这样说人家呢 ？I said angrily. OK， 你看看，重要就是 angrily。这只是一个他邻居的小女生，他在安慰他。当他骂那个男生是个 pig 的时候，他开始带着情绪了。I said angry， 我有愤怒了。你不觉得这跟他有什么关系？为什么要愤怒？不是吗 ？The same person. Ezuko is Sachiko， 这就开始有点愤怒，但是这里还没有判。This is not the evidence yet. Okay? I said angry. We stare at each other for a moment. 你看我看你。Then she looked back at her hands. You mustn't speak like that, I said more calmly. 你看哦，从 angry 变成 calmly 一个转折，觉得这样突然情绪作用。She was not right， 所以现在比较 peacefully. He's very fond of you. 那个美国大兵 Frank 很喜欢你呀、我们怎么知道？这不是妈妈的口吻吗 ？He's very fond of you, and he'll be just like a new father to you. 你看，会是你那个继父新爸爸一样吗 ？Everything will turn out well, I promise. 你看到 I promise. 他有什么资格 promise miracle? Everything will turn well. 我答应，一切都会很好。如果他不是 Sachiko， how could she make a promise？ 对不对？我承诺，我会答应。OK， 接下来你看哦 ，The child said nothing. I went on. I said again. In any case, I went on. 你看这个重点来了。In any case, I went on. If you don't like it over there 是 United States， 他们要到美国去嘛 ？If you don't like it over there， 如果你不喜欢美国的话，去了 ，we can always come back。这个关 关键字是哪一个字 ？Anybody here？ 啊，哪一个是关键字
We.
？We， 你看看 we，we， 这是一个最重要的关键字。心理学上有一个说辞，有没有同学知道心理学上有什么说辞？我要想说些什么 ？Anybody here？ There's no piece of chalk here。心理学有一个说法叫 slip of tongue， 说溜嘴。SLIP slip of tongue。你可以 argue， 朱可在这里说溜了嘴。为什么会说溜了嘴？对不对？会说溜了嘴。什么叫误以 ？In other words, at this moment, Ezuko and Mariko suddenly become mother and daughter. Okay? 带女儿嘛，过去。Don't worry, if you do not like the United States, we can always return. 不喜欢没关系嘛，我们总是可以回来啊。他又不去，怎么可以说我们总是回来？这样你们同学听得懂了啊？这是一个 very subtle。I have kept arguing. Ezuko 在说他 own story， 他只好找一个替身 Sachiko to tell her own story. And you might, as a reader, you could ask, tell me, show me the evidence. How could you make this kind of argument? Even though we know, Ezuko is making up 杜撰 a character called Sachiko to tell her own story. 她杜撰的啊，来说她自己的故事。Because her own story is not very pleasant. That's the reason why she has to make up a character. But where's the evidence? Here is the very evidence. Could you follow me? 这就是最好的证据嘛。We， 终于我们知道 Sachiko 跟 Ezuko, they are the same person. They are identical. Is it clear? Very important. If you have finished reading the whole novel, if you fail to notice, actually, Ezuko identified herself with Sachiko in persuading Mariko to go to America herself. If you fail to notice this, I don't think you are a good reader. You have to be aware, as I have kept arguing, because the novel is written, because the novel is told from the first person perspective, from the first person narrative point of view, 是当事人自己说故事嘛？中文叫什么？夫子自道啊。I tell my own story to you. Some of my story, of course, could be very unpleasant. Okay, so let me show you this and then we'll finish. Okay, narrative perspective is another very important aspect of a novel. Who tells the story? Who is the narrator? And we know that Ezuko tells the story because it's her recollection, remembrance of things past. 回忆嘛，对过去的回忆。回忆 Some events are pleasant. Some events are not pleasant. So there must be some pleasant memory. There must be some unpleasant memory. She tried to keep the pleasant memory. She tried to forget the unpleasant memory. Therefore, the first question we have to ask about any first-person narrator, if it's a first-person narrator, the very first question we have to ask is he reliable? 这是 first person 永远要问的一个问题。Is the narrator trustworthy？ 我发现像赖玉荣就不是 trustworthy， 赖玉荣就不值得我信赖，所以赖玉荣叫我帮他募款，我就不给他们不想募款，也不值得信赖。我说今天要来做 MOOCs， 叫他把全班召集在一起，就没有办得到。不是，当然是你的问题啊，对不对 ？In other words, I am not touched at all， 一点没有受到感动啊，感动到赖玉荣那诚恳诚心啊，对不对 ？Of course, he could argue that's not my fault. It has nothing to do with me. Okay, I know it's not your fault. Okay, but I trust you, right? 我没有做第二件事情啊，我 just ask you for help. I believe you could do it. This is called trustworthy, reliable. 信赖。现在 storyteller, is she reliable? Is she trustworthy? That's the point. That's the point. 是作为一个 first person narrator, you as a reader, you always have to ask this question. Of course, now you could argue, Ezuko as a narrator, she's not trustworthy, she's not reliable. 但是如果你是这种 argue， 你就完蛋了。If she is not trustworthy, she is not reliable. 就像 I come to realize 赖玉荣 is not reliable, is not trustworthy， 对不对？就我不会帮他募款，这就是后果嘛。If Ezuko is not trustworthy, if Ezuko is not reliable， 作为读者，你就不读他故事了。As a reader, you don't want to like to read her story because you come to realize her story is not true. 谎话连篇嘛。所以 as a first person story, she has to let the reader know that my story is true. I'm telling you the true story. 但是我们这不是 true。所以他必须要找一些 tricks， 一些策略，对不对？来让读者知道，哦，我讲的是真的哦。Reader, I'm telling the truth。但是 actually she's not， 所以他用什么策略？用 memory， 所以才有那一段 memory is not trustworthy, memory is not reliable。他就告诉你了嘛，哎，记忆是不可信赖的哦，记忆是不可靠的哦。但是他所说的故事是 based upon a memory， 不是吗 ？The whole story is based upon a memory. That's the reason why we could argue the story is a memoir， 不是吗？但是他已经给我们打针了，预防针了。Memory is not reliable. So if some parts of my story turn out to be not reliable, you have to forgive me.Because that's part of my memory. Not because I want to tell you the lie. 同学懂这意思了哈？这是一个非常非常重要的 device. What device does she use? 这是她的一个技巧啊。我明明告诉你 memory is not reliable, and I tell my story based on my own memory. 你可以怎么可以对我批判 ？How could you argue?Okay, you cannot do that. Clear, not clear. Okay, so I think we are going to finish the lecture now. But just bear in mind, okay, these to me are very important aspects when you read the novel. Okay, when you read the novel. Of course, another important thing for you to realize, when you read any character,When you read any 角色 in the story, you have to realize a character stands for some kind of idea. 角色不要把它当作是一个角色，它是代表作者某一种理念，某一种意识形态。So you Okatasa, the old generation, and the old generation stand for the old Japan, stand for tradition. You are his student, right? Xi does it stand? C stands for the so-called the spirit of looking forward. Looking for 往前看嘛 ，that means optimism. 乐观进取。Okay. In other words, when you read the story, the first question for you to ask, what does the character stand for? 角色代表什么？那就是角色 only. A character stands for a certain kind of ideology. Okay, do you have any other questions before we close the session? Do you have any question, Andrew? What's your question? Do you have any questions?
No.
No. Do you have any questions? Any questions? How about you? Do you have any questions? No question? Okay. So if you have no other question, let's call it a class, okay? In other words, the class is finished now. Don't forget next week, we will start with waiting. Like, my question is, have you ordered waiting already or not yet?
Today we are all
So not yet. Just tell me not yet. Don't say today I'm going to do it. Not yet. 所以你看就不会让我感动。来，当你让我感动的时候 ，I'm going to ask for donation to support your performance. 不是吗 ？Not yet. I told you 2 weeks ago. Please order the book for us, for your classmates. In other words, next week when the class begins, I will be happy to see each of you will have a copy of Waiting. The second book we are going to discuss. So for this semester, actually, I don't think you will have a hard time. 不应该很辛苦啊。You only read 2 books， 而且这2本书现在是很红的2本书，一个是 Appeal Peers， 一个是 Waiting，and both are written not by English speaking writers. One was born in China, one was born in Japan. That's the reason why we call the course New English Literature. Okay, see you next week.